This is Access 2019, Module 1. This is Part 8, and it's the last part of Module 1. We're going to look at some of the miscellaneous navigation tools and the help, as well as review compacting and repairing your database and backing up your database. So let's get back into our Lakewood database. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our navigation pane. So if you want the navigation pane to be larger, you simply hover over it with the arrows and drag the bar out and it will enlarge it. You can close the groups of objects so that you only see the headers, and you can pick and choose which group you want to look at by using these open and close arrows. This shutter open and close will actually close the entire access pane and reopen it. And now you have other options here as to how you want to organize your access pane, so object pane. So if you wanted to look at them in the order that they were created or modified, you can change that. You can also show the tables, and then it would list all of the objects that are related to that table underneath it. So there are different options you can choose from. I usually leave mine as object types. I think that's an easy way to find things, but you can work with looking at different sorting options for your object pane, as well as filtering options as to what you would like to show. Now, we also want to be able to look at the help menu. So for the help menu, you see an option here called help right on the ribbon. When you click there, you can then choose the help button, and it's going to open up help areas over here. Keep in mind, you can't really use help on your exams, and if you rely on the help and never learn how to do some of the basic things, everything will take you a lot longer. So even if you could try to use this for all your homework assignments and so forth, it is going to take a lot of extra time if you utilize the help on a regular basis. But once in a while, you do need to be able to find things in the help menus that you have not done before. Maybe a new type of query. Maybe applying queries to text values, and you have some questions as to how to accomplish that. And so you can see there's a lot of information in the help area. Now the last thing we want to talk about is the compacting and repairing. So when we create our data, our database, and we open up and create a new object like a query, it pulls all the data into the query, and so it is being stored right now in the query, as well as it's being stored in the table that it's being pulled from. It's the same way when we open up our form and pull the data into the form, and when we open up the report. So our visit table data is currently being stored, at least portions of it, in 4 different objects. the table, the query, the form, and the report. It really only needs to be stored in one object, and that's the table, which is the main object that's purpose is to store the data. So we're going to go in and we're going to compact and repair. It's going to look for any problems. It's also going to compact and strip out the data from the objects that do not need it and only store the data in the table where it is needed. So we're going to do compact and repair. And that's as simple as it was. So we go to File, choose Compact and Repair Database, and it shrinks the file size down. We should always make sure before we submit our SAM projects for grading that we do this compact and repair. If you get an error message during your SAM homework that says the file size is too large to submit your file to SAM, that is telling you you forgot to compact and repair. Also, it's important to remember that sometimes this File tab is referred to as the Backstage View. So if they tell you to go to the Backstage View and compact, or to go to the Backstage View and save the database or back it up, they are telling you to hit the File tab. Okay, so File is the Backstage View. All right, we're going to look at two additional things. For your homework, when you download your database, it has an _1 at the end of the name. But you need to change that name and save it as _2. So if you go to the File tab and you choose Save As, Save Database As, and leaving this as an Access database, you click on Save As, it brings up the database name for you to change. I do want to point out it does not set it up to save it in the same spot where you originally have the one that's open. For example, my is going to save it right now in Documents, but the database that I'm working on is stored on the C drive, Data Work, IUPUI, then it's under Videos and File Used, and that's where the database is stored. So you oftentimes have to fix the location as well when you change the name. But then the only thing you're going to want to do is if this said your name and then _1, you simply highlight the 1 and make it a 2. And now you would enable content and you're ready to do your SAM project. So that's how you can rename the file. The last thing we'll look at is how to back up your database. So if you want to make another copy of it, I've had some students that back up the database at different points during the SAM projects, so they don't have to redo the entire thing if they miss a query or something. So if you want to use the backup, you can. You'll go up to File. You'll choose Save As. And then you'll come over here and you'll choose Back Up the Database. When you choose Save As, it will bring in the database. It includes the name and then an underscore followed by the date. So then you click Save and now it has that date. Now notice the file that you're working in did not change. When I changed the name, it kept me working in _2. When I did a backup, it created another copy of my database, but it did not put me working in that backup. You can, when you do a backup, You can do more than one at the same date because notice it will stick a number at the end to make it a unique file name if it detects that that file already exists. Or if you wanted to say, you know, after part 3, you could add text after the date to refresh your memory as to when that backup was completed. That takes care of the administrative or the miscellaneous tools. So don't forget, if they tell you to go to the Backstage View, they are telling you to click File. And then you're going to choose your options here on the Backstage View.